We're going to kind of go over the rules and procedures for my class. You should have a brightly colored document that's available to you. You can go over these with me. Feel free to write in the margins, to take notes. Like if I say something that just seems crazy, or if I say something that doesn't make sense, write it down and we can talk about it. So, general class rules. None of these should be crazy to you. These are things that oftentimes are the class rules. Be respectful to everyone, to your teacher, to your peers, to visitors in the room. Everyone needs to be respected. I think most of these rules can be summarized in that: just show respect and expect respect. I will say yes sir, no sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am to you guys, and I expect you to say the same back. I expect you to say yes sir and no sir back, not the ma'am. Use hand signals when possible. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That'll help the class flow better. We have less distractions. It is your responsibility to learn. It is not my responsibility for you to learn. It is my responsibility to help you learn. If you're adamant and you're determined not to learn, then I'm not going to be able to help you. So make up missed work. It's your responsibility. If you're absent, I will have the stuff that you need, or I can get the stuff that you need if you need extra stuff. But you're responsible in getting that. Another thing in general, just help keep yourself and others safe. So if we're doing lab safety, if we're out in the food forest, if we're using glass inside or sharp scissors, like dissection scissors, stuff like that, just use proper lab safety. We'll talk more about that as the year goes on, and before the lesson I'll give you reminders, but just kind of keep that in the forefront of your mind. Keep the aisles clear. This is a day-to-day thing. So at the beginning of the year you don't have lockers, but very soon you'll have lockers, and all of your belongings needs to go into your lockers except for what you need for the 2 classes that you're in. You have a locker break every 2 classes. So before you leave the room, you need to talk with me about that. So if it's an emergency and you're about to spew up what you ate for breakfast or lunch, then just run out of the room and yell something as you go. That's definitely understandable. But you should not be going to the teacher next door. You should not be going just for a quick potty break. You should not be going across the school. You should not be moving. Like, you are my responsibility. And as such, I need to know where you're at. So if we have a fire drill, I can write down on the paper, hey, this person is supposed to be in the library right now, or they're supposed to be at the nurse, or it should not be a surprise that you left the room. And I'll see you before you get very far. I just want to make that clear at this point. So specific rules for class: keep the aisles clear. We kind of said that. Keep trash at your desk until you leave the room. That's something that maybe you don't do in other classes, but there's no need for you to get up every time you have a small piece of paper to throw away. Just leave it on your desk. You have a huge desk, and so you have plenty of room. Just kind of keep it to the side. Put it in your pocket whenever you're walking around. You're welcome to throw it away at that point, but don't get up just to throw stuff away. Don't talk while other people have the floor. That's a respect thing. Keep all 4 of the legs of your chair on the ground. If you do that enough, eventually you will fall, and you can either hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. There's a bunch of sharp rocks around you that are called desks. They're hard surfaces, and if you hit that with your head, the table is not going to be really affected. It's going to be your head, and that has happened before where people fall. It happens every year, multiple times. So please keep all 4 legs on the ground. Stay organized. Again, that's not a surprise. This is online. Keep your online stuff organized, and I'll help you with that. And keep your real life, in order as well. Your folder, you shouldn't have math and science stuff in your English folder, at least in the English section. Clean your area when you leave. Definitely push in your chair. Don't eat or drink without permission. For the most part, I'm pretty lax. If you want to eat or drink something, that's fine, but you need to ask permission each time you do that, because sometimes it's going to be appropriate. Sometimes we'll be doing a lab or something where I don't want you to do that. Or sometimes you just don't need to. You're not going to need to. That includes chewing gum. Appeal, don't argue. I'll harp on this all year long. Appeal, don't argue. I don't mind, and actually I encourage you to appeal. Say, hey, Mr. Early, I know you said this. This is what I understand. This is what I think. Can we change that? Do you think this is a better idea? You can appeal. That's fine. And you can do that for the rest of your life with most people that are around you. Arguing typically does not get you very far. I don't know how that works with your family, but I know in my personal life, that doesn't really help just to argue with people. So just appeal, have a discussion, have a conversation. Don't come in hot and heavy and ready to pick a fight. Don't leave stuff on my desk. If you have something for me, hand it to me. If you leave stuff on my desk, it's likely to get moved around. I try to purge stuff from my desk periodically, so yours might end up in the trash. So make sure if it's important to you, you need to put it in my hand. All right, so let's go down to expected attitudes. These aren't really rules. These are just kind of expected things that I want you to have in your mind. So for you to be able to say, I'm smart, but I can always be smarter. So you guys are smart. You guys know a lot of stuff. But I want you, hopefully you want to be smarter later than you are now. So it says, do you want to be 25 and have the same knowledge that you have now? The time between 7th grade and being adult is just a series of opportunities. Make a good use of your dash. When you die, you're going to have a born date and a dead date, a death date. That dash in between is what kind of summarizes your whole life. So make the most of your dash, make the most of your life. And one of the ways you can do that is by learning as much as you can. Find smart people and ask them questions, stick around them, watch what they're doing, stuff like that. Next thing, I'll do my best, but I can admit when I'm wrong. All of us are wrong and all of us are right at some point. So because we're all great at something, we have room to grow. Because we're all great at something, we can help other people grow, and there's weaknesses that you have where you need to grow. So no one's perfect, including yourself. You're not the exception. This will help you gain respect from others, and it'll help you grow as a person. So it'll just help you in general. I can fix my own problems. Now you can't, if your finger has fallen off, you probably can't fix that. If you have a severe medical incident, you probably can't fix that. If your house is on fire, your water hose is probably not going to help you. But for the most part, most of the problems that I hear from middle schoolers, and sometimes people in general, you can fix yourself. So don't run to an authority figure every time you need just a little bit of help. Try to solve it yourself. So that includes your parents, that includes me, that includes a police officer, that includes everybody around you. Just chances are, if you just sat down and think through the problem and talk to the person that you have a problem with, maybe, then you can figure out a solution. But there are definitely situations where you do need to come and talk to the authority figure. And if that's me, please come and do that. But I want you to sit and think, use that space between your ears and try to fix it on your own first. Think through the problem and try to come up with a solution. I can help if you can't. Everybody needs help. None of you know everything. And some of the lessons before we go over what we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you that you don't know everything. So don't expect to be able to make it through life without support from others. We need each other. Be that support and surround yourself with supportive people. Last thing, I want to help you learn and become a better person. So I want you to believe that Mr. Hurley wants me to learn and become a better person. I will try to give very clear directions and helpful directions. And I will try to do that multiple times, repeat myself. Listen to the directions. If you've listened to the directions and you still don't understand, ask me. I want to help. That is my job, is to help you. So this is the first part of the rules and procedures. There'll be another video to come.